Welcome back to DT World Class Coins. Today's coin doesn't tell the story of a battle. It tells the story of a place that helped create a nation. Long before the United States existed, before presidents, before the American flag, there was Pennsylvania. In the 1600s, North America looked completely different. No 50 states, no Washington, D.C., no United States, just colonies scattered along the coast. And among them was a dream. That dream belonged to William Penn. Penn believed people should have more freedom. Freedom to live, freedom to worship, freedom to build a better future. At the time, those ideas were unusual, but Penn refused to abandon them. Then came an opportunity. In 1681, King Charles II granted Penn a massive piece of land in North America. That land became Pennsylvania. What started as a colony quickly became something bigger. Families arrived from across Europe. Farmers cleared fields. Towns appeared. Trade expanded. Year after year, Pennsylvania grew. And with that growth came influence. Its location connected colonies. Its economy expanded. Its population increased. But Pennsylvania's greatest strength wasn't land. It was ideas. Ideas about opportunity. Ideas about freedom. Ideas about self-government. As those ideas spread, one city began to rise above all others. Philadelphia. Ships filled its ports. Merchants filled its streets. New ideas filled its meeting halls. The city grew faster and faster. Soon, Philadelphia became one of the most important places in North America. People came to trade. People came to work. People came to debate the future. And without realizing it, they were helping prepare the stage for history. Because beyond the busy streets, something was changing. Tensions were growing. Questions were spreading. Who should control the colonies? Who should make the rules? Who should decide the future? At first, those questions seemed small, but they wouldn't stay small for long. Pennsylvania was about to become the center of something much bigger, something that would change history forever, a revolution. And that revolution would begin in a city we've already mentioned, Philadelphia, the city where America would soon take its first steps toward becoming a nation. And that's where our story continues. By the middle of the 18th century, Philadelphia had become one of the most important cities in North America. Its streets were crowded. Its markets were thriving. Ships arrived daily carrying goods from across the Atlantic. Merchants, craftsmen, and traders filled the city with energy. What had once been a small settlement was now a center of commerce and opportunity. People came from different backgrounds, different cultures, different regions. Yet they all shared one thing. They believed Philadelphia offered possibilities. But while prosperity grew, another force was quietly growing alongside it: frustration. For years, the American colonies had lived under British rule. Many colonists accepted that arrangement. After all, Britain provided protection. Britain controlled trade. Britain maintained order. At least that was the expectation. But as time passed, many colonists began asking difficult questions. Questions that had no easy answers. Why were important decisions being made thousands of miles away? Why were colonists expected to follow laws they had no role in creating? Why were new taxes appearing again and again? At first, these concerns seemed manageable. People complained. Leaders debated. Merchants voiced their frustrations. Life continued. Yet the concerns never disappeared. Instead, they grew stronger. Every new law added pressure. Every new restriction increased tension. And nowhere was that tension felt more clearly than Philadelphia. The city had become a meeting place for ideas. People gathered in taverns. They gathered in homes. They gathered in public spaces. Everywhere, conversations were taking place. Some discussions focused on trade, others focused on politics, but many focused on one question: what kind of future should the colonies have? Not everyone agreed. Some believed loyalty to Britain remained important. Others believed change was necessary, and a growing number believed the colonies deserved greater control over their own affairs. These ideas spread quickly, faster than anyone expected, because ideas are difficult to contain. Once people begin questioning authority, they rarely stop after asking a single question. One question leads to another, and another, and another. Soon, Philadelphia became one of the most influential centers of political discussion in the colonies. Printers published newspapers filled with opinions. Writers challenged old assumptions. Citizens debated issues that would shape the future. The city was changing, and so were the people living there. Then came a series of events that pushed tensions even higher. New taxes were imposed. Trade regulations became stricter. Many colonists felt their concerns were being ignored. The relationship between Britain and the colonies began to deteriorate. Trust weakened. Patience faded. Anger grew. Suddenly, what had once seemed like minor disagreements started feeling much more serious. The future became uncertain, and uncertainty creates fear. But it can also create determination. As frustrations increased, Philadelphia's role became even more important. Leaders from different colonies traveled there. Meetings became more frequent. Discussions became more urgent. People understood that something significant was happening, even if they didn't yet know exactly where it would lead. Among the most famous symbols connected to this period is the Liberty Bell. Today, it stands as one of America's most recognizable historical artifacts. Millions visit it every year. Millions know its image. Yet, during the colonial era, nobody could have predicted what the bell would eventually represent. At first, it was simply a bell, a functional object, part of everyday life. But history has a strange way of transforming ordinary things into powerful symbols. As debates over freedom and rights intensified, the Liberty Bell gradually became connected to ideas much larger than itself. Ideas about independence, ideas about representation, ideas about liberty. The bell didn't create those ideas, but it came to symbolize them. And because Philadelphia stood at the center of those discussions, the city became inseparable from the growing movement. By the early 1770s, tensions had reached dangerous levels. Across the colonies, resistance was increasing. Protests became more common. Political divisions deepened. The possibility of open conflict no longer seemed impossible. Many people still hoped a peaceful solution could be found. Others feared war was approaching. Nobody knew what would happen next. Yet everyone understood one thing. The relationship between Britain and the colonies was changing rapidly, and Philadelphia was at the center of the storm. Every day brought new developments, new debates, new disagreements, new uncertainties. The city that William Penn had founded decades earlier was becoming something far greater than a successful colony. It was becoming the place where the future of America would be debated, a place where leaders would gather, a place where decisions would be made, a place where history itself was preparing to change direction. The streets remained busy. The markets remained crowded. Life continued. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary was happening. A movement was growing, a movement that would soon reshape the world. And when that moment finally arrived, Philadelphia would become the stage upon which one of history's most important stories would unfold. Because the next chapter isn't about growing tensions. It isn't about debates. It isn't about uncertainty. It's about action. It's about revolution. It's about the moment Pennsylvania helped give birth to a nation. And that's where our story goes next. By 1775, the arguments were over. For years, the colonies had protested British policies. They had written letters, held meetings, voiced complaints. Now everything was changing. The first battles of the Revolutionary War had begun. What started as a political dispute was turning into a fight for the future. Across the colonies, people were forced to choose sides. Some remained loyal to Britain. Others believed the colonies should govern themselves. Families disagreed. Neighbors argued. Communities divided. No one knew how the conflict would end. Britain possessed one of the strongest militaries in the world. Its navy controlled the seas. Its army was experienced and well-equipped. The colonies faced a difficult challenge. Yet, despite the danger, resistance continued to grow. As the war unfolded, Pennsylvania became more important than ever. Its location made it a natural meeting place. Its cities provided resources. Its people played critical roles in shaping events. At the center of everything stood Philadelphia. Delegates from different colonies traveled there once again. The city became a gathering place for leaders trying to decide the future. Inside meeting halls, discussions continued for hours, sometimes days. The questions were enormous. Could the colonies survive on their own? Could they defeat Britain? Could they create something entirely new? Among the men participating in these discussions were figures who would later become some of the most famous names in American history: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin. At the time, however, they were not legends. They were simply individuals facing one of the most important decisions of their lives. As the months passed, support for independence grew stronger. The idea that once seemed impossible now seemed necessary. Many believed there was no longer a path back to the old relationship with Britain. The colonies needed a new direction. They needed a new future, and that future would begin in Philadelphia. In the summer of 1776, delegates gathered to debate a document that would change history forever: the Declaration of Independence. The document was bold. It challenged one of the most powerful empires on earth. It declared that the colonies had the right to govern themselves, and it explained why they believed independence was necessary. Every word mattered. Every sentence carried weight. The delegates understood the risks. Signing such a document was not a symbolic gesture. It was a dangerous commitment. If the revolution failed, the consequences could be severe. Yet they moved forward. The belief that freedom was worth fighting for proved stronger than fear. Then came July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence was officially adopted. For the colonies, it marked the beginning of a new chapter. For Britain, it marked open defiance. For history, it became one of the most important moments ever recorded. A new nation had announced itself to the world, but declaring independence did not guarantee victory. The war continued. Battles were fought across the colonies. Resources were limited. Losses were suffered. There were moments when the future looked uncertain. Many wondered whether the revolution could survive. Yet determination remained strong. The people fighting for independence understood what was at stake. They were not only fighting for territory, they were fighting for an idea. The idea that people could choose their own future. The idea that governments should answer to the people they govern. The idea that freedom was worth defending. As the war continued, Philadelphia remained a center of leadership and decision-making. The city became a symbol of the revolutionary cause. Leaders met there, plans were created there, history unfolded there. When people think about the birth of the United States, Philadelphia is often one of the first places they remember. And for good reason, few cities played a larger role in shaping the nation. But Pennsylvania's contribution did not end with independence. Winning the war was only the first challenge. Now the new nation had to figure out how it would function. How would laws be made? How would power be shared? How would the country stay united? These questions were just as important as the revolution itself. Once again, Pennsylvania became the center of the discussion. In 1787, leaders gathered in Philadelphia for another historic meeting. Their goal was ambitious. They wanted to create a stronger foundation for the young nation. The result was the United States Constitution. Inside Philadelphia, debates filled the room. Different leaders proposed different solutions. Compromises were made. Arguments were settled. Ideas were tested. The work was difficult, but eventually a framework emerged. A framework that still guides the United States today. Think about how remarkable that is. Both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are connected to Pennsylvania, two of the most important documents in American history. Both linked to the same state, both linked to the same city. That is why Pennsylvania occupies such a unique place in the American story. It was more than a witness to history. It helped create history. The decisions made there influenced generations. The ideas discussed there changed the world. And those achievements are part of the reason Pennsylvania was honored on a state quarter centuries later. When people look at the Pennsylvania quarter today, they often see a simple design. But behind that design is a powerful story. A story of leaders facing impossible choices. A story of courage and uncertainty. A story of a colony that helped become the birthplace of a nation. Now it's time to look at the quarter itself, because every symbol on that coin was chosen for a reason. Every detail connects to the remarkable history we've explored. And once you understand those symbols, you'll begin to see the Pennsylvania quarter in a completely different way. By the time the United States began honoring each state with its own quarter in 1999, Pennsylvania had already secured its place in history. The challenge was simple. How do you represent centuries of history on a coin, small enough to fit in your pocket? How do you capture the story of a state that helped shape a nation? The answer can be found on the Pennsylvania quarter itself. At first glance, the design appears simple. A few symbols, a few details, nothing dramatic. No battle scenes, no famous speeches, no declarations being signed. Yet every element was carefully chosen. Every symbol tells part of Pennsylvania's story. The first thing many people notice is the outline of the state. It sits prominently on the coin. Simple but important, because everything that happened in Pennsylvania happened within those borders. The founding of the colony, the growth of Philadelphia, the debates that led to independence, the meetings that helped create a new nation. The state outline serves as a reminder of where those events took place. But perhaps the most important symbol on the quarter is the Keystone. Many people see it and move on without thinking about it. Collectors notice it immediately. Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State. The nickname dates back centuries. In architecture, a keystone is the center stone placed at the top of an arch. Without it, the arch becomes weak. Without it, the structure can collapse. The keystone holds everything together. Many historians believe Pennsylvania earned this nickname because of its central role in early American history. Its location connected regions, its cities connected people, its leaders connected ideas. Again and again, Pennsylvania found itself holding important pieces of the nation together. That is why the keystone appears on the coin, not as decoration, but as a symbol of importance. Then there is another feature many people recognize. The Commonwealth statue, standing proudly on the design. The statue represents Pennsylvania itself. Strength, progress, opportunity for generations. The Commonwealth statue has stood above the Pennsylvania state capitol in Harrisburg, watching over the state, serving as a symbol of its identity. When designers selected the image for the quarter, they wanted something that represented both history and the future. The Commonwealth statue accomplished exactly that. It connected Pennsylvania's past with its present, and its present with its future. The design also includes the year 1787. Most people never stop to think about why that date appears on the coin, but it is one of the most important numbers on the entire design. 1787 was the year Pennsylvania ratified the United States Constitution. A major moment in American history The Constitution helped establish the framework of the new government, and Pennsylvania played a critical role in that process. Without understanding that date, viewers miss one of the most meaningful details on the quarter. Every number matters. Every symbol matters. Every decision made by the designers had a purpose. Nothing was included by accident. But collectors often look beyond the design. They focus on details that most people never notice. One of those details is the mint mark, a tiny letter located on the front of the coin. Usually a P or a D, small enough to be overlooked, important enough to attract collectors. The P indicates the coin was struck in Philadelphia. The D indicates it was struck in Denver. To the average person, the difference seems insignificant. Both are quarters, both spend the same, both appear nearly identical. Yet collectors know small differences can matter. Sometimes production numbers differ, sometimes condition differs, sometimes rarity differs, and in coin collecting, small differences often create big interest. Then there are proof versions. Special coins created specifically for collectors. Unlike ordinary circulation coins, proof quarters receive extra attention during production. Their surfaces appear cleaner, their details appear sharper, their finish often looks almost mirror-like. Placed beside an ordinary quarter, the difference becomes obvious. Proof coins were never intended for everyday spending. They were created to be preserved, to be collected, to be admired. Because of that, many remain in excellent condition today, making them popular among collectors. But perhaps the most exciting part of coin collecting involves something completely unexpected: mistakes, errors, imperfections. During the minting process, machines occasionally produce coins that differ from what was intended. A strike may be slightly off-center. A detail may appear unusual. A design element may look different. Most errors are minor. Many go unnoticed. Yet some become highly sought after. Because mistakes create rarity, and rarity creates interest. Collectors spend years searching for unusual coins, looking through jars, examining rolls, inspecting pocket change. Always hoping to discover something uncommon. The Pennsylvania quarter is no exception. Millions were produced. Millions entered circulation. Millions were spent. Yet collectors still search for examples with unique characteristics. That search continues even today. And that is part of what makes the hobby so fascinating. Every coin has a story, every detail has a meaning, every symbol connects to something larger. The Pennsylvania quarter proves that perfectly. What appears to be a simple coin is actually a tribute to centuries of history, a tribute to the state that helped build a nation, a tribute to the people who shaped its future, and a tribute to the events that changed the world. The more closely you examine the coin, the more those stories begin to appear. And once you understand what the symbols represent, you realize this quarter is far more than 25 cents. It is a small piece of American history preserved in metal, waiting for someone to notice it, waiting for someone to understand it, and waiting for someone to uncover the story hidden within it. The story of Pennsylvania itself. More than 2 decades have passed since the Pennsylvania quarter entered circulation. Millions of people have held it. Millions have spent it. Millions have dropped it into jars, drawers, cash registers, and vending machines. For most people, it was just another quarter, just another coin, just another piece of change. Yet somehow this coin continues to attract attention. Collectors still search for it. History enthusiasts still talk about it, and new generations continue discovering the story hidden behind its design. The reason is simple. This quarter represents something bigger than money. It represents memory. Throughout history, nations have searched for ways to preserve important stories. They built monuments, they wrote books, they created museums, they raised statues. Each one served the same purpose: to ensure that important moments would never be forgotten. coins serve that purpose too, but they do it differently. A monument stays in one place. A coin travels everywhere. It moves from person to person, from city to city, from generation to generation. A child can hold it. A collector can study it. A historian can appreciate it, all without realizing they are touching a piece of history. That is what makes the Pennsylvania Quarter special. It carries the story of a state that helped shape America. Every symbol on the coin points back to that story. The state outline reminds us where history happened. The Keystone reminds us why Pennsylvania became so important. The Commonwealth statue reminds us of the strength and identity of the state. The date, 1787, reminds us of Pennsylvania's role in building the nation. Together, these details create something larger than a design. They create a historical record, a reminder of how one state influenced the future of an entire country. Think about everything Pennsylvania contributed: William Penn's vision of freedom, the rise of Philadelphia, the meetings that changed history, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. Some of the most important moments in American history are connected to Pennsylvania. Without Pennsylvania, the story of America might have unfolded very differently. That is a remarkable legacy, and that legacy is captured on a coin worth only 25 cents. For collectors, that connection is part of the appeal. The coin is not valuable because it contains precious metal. It is valuable because of what it represents. It represents history. It represents identity. It represents one of the most important chapters in the American story. Some collectors search for pristine examples. Others search for proof versions. Some look for mint errors. Others simply enjoy owning a piece of history. Every collector has a different reason, but all of them share one thing: the desire to learn, the desire to discover, the desire to see something that others overlook. That curiosity is what keeps coin collecting alive. Because every coin has a story. Some stories are obvious. Others remain hidden until someone takes a closer look. The Pennsylvania Quarter rewards those who look closer. At first, it appears simple, but the more you study it, the more meaningful it becomes. History begins to emerge from every symbol. Every detail begins to tell a story, and the coin transforms from ordinary change into something much more interesting. Perhaps that is the biggest lesson hidden within this quarter. The most important things are not always the most obvious. History often hides in plain sight. People walk past it every day, they spend it, ignore it, forget about it, never realizing what they are holding. The Pennsylvania Quarter reminds us to pay attention, to ask questions, to stay curious, because sometimes an ordinary object can reveal an extraordinary story. That is exactly what happened with this coin. What looked like 25 cents became a journey through centuries of history, a journey through the founding of Pennsylvania, the rise of Philadelphia, the birth of the United States, and the creation of a legacy that still exists today. The story of this quarter is ultimately the story of Pennsylvania itself. A state built on ideas. A state shaped by leadership. A state connected to some of the most important moments in American history. And that is why this coin still matters. Not because it is rare, not because it is expensive, but because it remembers. It remembers the people who built Pennsylvania. It remembers the leaders who shaped a nation. It remembers the events that changed the world. And it carries those memories forward one generation at a time. The next time you see a Pennsylvania quarter, take a closer look. Notice the symbols. Notice the details. Notice the history hidden within the design. Because you are not just looking at a coin, you are looking at a story of vision, a story of courage, a story of a state that helped create a nation. And that story continues every time the coin changes hands. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history of the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter. If you enjoyed uncovering the secrets behind this coin, make sure you subscribe to DT World Class Coins. Because here we do not just look at coins. We uncover secrets. This is DT World Class Coins. And I will see you in the next one.